Hello, and welcome back to the State of the Lab. It's been a while, huh? We are here dusting off the cobwebs. No, we should be adding them. Anyways, well, things have been really nutty, and we've been overwhelmed beyond belief. We know it's been a long time, and things are moving forward. We're actually going great. So we're gonna talk about Halloween Horror Nights.
Our install at the local Fear Reach Scream Park, Milton, the hurricane.
The fight against Trunk or Treat that I'm currently waging in my neighborhood.
And the changes we're making to the box itself. You want to get started with started with Halloween Horror Nights. It's October, right?
Yeah, I think I'm still standing. I'm also vibrating a little bit because there's been a lot. So we always do Behind the Screams since we've moved back to this state, and I love it beyond anything else I've done there. I've done the VIP. The only thing I wish I did not miss out was that premium night that they did, but it's kind of weird how they handled some stuff. So anyways, Behind the Screams.
Yeah, we kind of missed it. We were going to do it, and then
they didn't show that they were like, oh, it's going to have all this food and all this stuff. And then when you go to buy the tickets, it didn't say anything about food or anything else about some of the other included things that they ended up having. And so we're like, is it really worth that value?
Yeah, no, their advertisement for the premium experience was pretty bad. It was abysmal. It was bad.
But I hear it was awesome. And yes, we do feel like we had a little missing out, but that's okay. Behind the Screams, again, we did the 6-house tour. I absolutely love it. Every year we do it. There's hands down, though, we went and saw the houses before we walked through them, so I knew which one was going to be the scariest, and I was so happy when I got to experience it.
But like, back up. So like, the first year we went to Halloween Horror Nights after we moved here was not very fun.
Right. Well, we didn't do a Behind the Screams.
But we also didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know anything related to like how to maximize it. It was like, without an express pass, without any of that stuff, it is a horrible experience, at least for us, right?
Well, and the time of year, like to do a cheaper night or some of the pass holder nights, we are Universal Orlando pass holders and love it. But if you want to go on a night that's not as crowded, then it's going to be a little hotter unless it's like just around a hurricane or at like November. So
the first year we really didn't do. Didn't we do the Behind the Screams the first year? I think we did the Behind the Screams.
We did the 3-house one, just the 3-house.
We did 3-house. It was pretty good. We saw some really. It was like, oh, that was kind of a neat thing to do. Last year, we took Brittany on the 3-house. Mm-hmm. That was great. We did that on a podcast. Talked about that. And we also did the 6-house. So we did 9 of the 10 houses last year, Behind the Screams. And we also decided, like, let's try the RIP tour because you can get every house and the show and everything, and it was kind of a brutal, like, the RIP tour was kind of brutal.
It was also super crowded that night, so even though we were on the RIP, we didn't do private. We're not ballers. We still felt like we were swimming upstream, and it was very crowded, and it was very hot, and it was not comfortable for anybody. But our tour guide was fan-frickin-tastic.
Yeah, his nickname was SpongeBob.
So
like, legitimately, like, that's what everybody called him. But anyway, so that went pretty well. This year we decided to like sort of just chill out. We really like the Behind the Screams stuff, and so we did the 6-house Behind the Screams without actually going to see the houses. Like, we didn't go through the normal show.
I wasn't sure. I've been hearing some really sad things about this year's HHN, and I wasn't really wanting to deal with the heat and the crowds to go to one of the nights just yet. Maybe I'd wait till like November. But the cheapest, of course, is if you go early for the Behind the Screams. September, earlier times, closer to Halloween, it's going to get outrageous. Same with just going to the event itself.
Yeah. So we did the Behind the Screams. We booked it in advance. Lisa got us a hotel.
I did.
So we were going to stay at the Hard Rock. It was, it was really nice.
I booked it so far in advance, and we got it so cheap. I was like, this is going to be perfect. If we decide, it's too hot or whatever, we can just be right at the hotel. It's the first ferry stop, first little walk. Like, And
But we booked it so far in advance that you actually forgot what day the Behind the Screams was, and you decided that we should probably stay the day before so that we would be ready for the Behind the Screams.
and I had the emails, I had all the stuff. I was just in such a blur because our home life has just been kind of chaotic as far
Which we'll
as,
talk about.
like, yeah, okay, but
so yeah, we show up, we go to our hotel, and
we went to the Adventura first to extend because again, like
it was like the night beforehand. We're like, oh, we'll just stay the night there at the Adventura. We go to the Adventura, we stay the night.
Have another great night. Like, it's always reliably like clean and nice there and a good value. Love the Adventura.
Get up early in the morning, rush over, change hotels because we are going to be checking into the Hard Rock the next day anyway. So check out the Adventura, go
to the Hard Rock, get
check in,
our fast passes.
get our fast passes, go, our express pass.
Oh, so sorry. Oh my god.
Get the express passes. Get over there to get exactly on time. Everything was going perfectly. All the timing was great. To go to the Behind the Screams directly to a gate that's closed because we're a day early.
The wrong day. I did it a day earlier. They weren't doing it that day, and I was just like, oh. And we had timed it. We went and got like our donut too, didn't we?
Oh yeah, no, that was the next day.
Oh, we did. Okay, good.
But anyway, so we're like, okay, let's just go over and go to Islands of Adventure, and we had a pretty good day. It was a nice day. I was exhausted. I was so tired.
I think Mike was like fighting off some sickness and just burnout, and it was just a lot of sleeping in the hotel room.
Yeah, we went back to the hotel and just slept basically the entire afternoon to the next morning. So we did the 6-house tour that took forever.
It always does, but it's so worth it.
Oh, it was really great. And then we decided, what was it? We went back to the hotel after the 6-house tour, and then decided, you know what?
We didn't feel completely dead. It was the first year we didn't. Let's
get another day. So I call the hotel. I go down to the front desk. I get us another day, right? Another night. And we decide, let's go. It was a pass holder night, and it was the day before
the last hurricane that came through Helene.
The day before Helene was supposed to be on top of Florida, right? So it was like literally they were sending out emails saying, Volcano Bay is going to be closed tomorrow because of Helene. So we're like, well, it's the pass holder night. We don't have to pay anything to go in. And it's pre-hurricane, so how many people are going to show up? I mean, there's like really bad like forecast weather and stuff. It was a beautiful night. There was like not very many people there.
I mean, the big, crazy, Insidious and like A Quiet Place and stuff, like the worst I think we saw was like 60 minutes. Like,
yeah, the longest wait was 60 minutes. We went through all but one.
In one night, yeah.
In one night. That's how chill it was there.
Oh, and here's the best part. We didn't pay for the VIP tour, so we didn't get the primo seats at the show, right? No.
They're like walking, and everybody will tell you, like if you want to go to the show, get there, stand in line. We're like walking past, and they're like, we're about to start, we're about to close the thing, like, and they still had availability, so we just like walked straight in, and then
we're doing the like biggest like loop around thing, and
there weren't enough people. Like, I think a lot of the people for the RAP tour basically
did the show early and left.
They either did the show early or they didn't show up because of the Helene thing. So they had all of the VIP seats in the middle, like right in the middle, that were like open, and they got to fill those.
And it was beautiful, like.
So we got put in the RIP seats,
spot. It was
like
great,
right in front.
It just worked out.
But also, let's talk about Insidious. We went to Insidious first, which was a
big mistake.
Because
it was awesome. We got a perfect run on it too. We felt too the time everything was just on, and we got to see it beforehand, so we knew.
Anybody who's been to Halloween Horror Nights knows that it's a conga line, and it's hit or miss on whether you're going to get a good run or just like everything's going to be off time. You never know. Insidious was not only the best haunted house there, but it was legitimately a perfect run. It was like they did it for the media. We started out on we were there with a camera.
High. It was beautiful, and we were just bubbling over, and then we move on to some of the next stuff, and we're just like
everything else. It was just downhill from there. But It was a good show. It was a good night.
It was wonderful. And hey, A Quiet Place was very good. Ghostbusters was very good. Like
yeah, Ghostbusters was good. Quiet Place was good. I almost
the only
died.
house we did not see.
I was so tired.
Because he was dead. It was the women. The women wrote the script. Women did this. I had to tell like this entire process.
It was the Monsters one.
It was the Monsters one, but it was all women who were the creators. So it was so cool.
Yeah, it was
we
cool,
got to see it behind the screams, but not at night.
we saw it from the behind the screams, and it was just like, even with the story being told to us, it wasn't good.
Okay, no, the story wasn't good. It's just that I have a hard time with the process of not. I believe strongly in show don't tell. So if you're going to a different place, how do you explain that without just chopping into another place? My mind is more built for dark rides than it is for haunted houses.
Yeah. So basically, we just decided to skip that one. If we had to skip one, we were kind of running out of time. It was
really pretty, though.
It was like the styling was pretty. It was just sort of the story wasn't. It had a lot that it needed to be refined.
And I think
from a story standpoint.
But that happens with their houses a lot of times. Like if you don't listen to the podcasts or do the behind the screams tours or something like that, like a lot of these, especially the ones that they create, their originals, like can sometimes be missing pieces otherwise. You know what I mean? Like you have to get the info, or it's just kind of.
Let me tell you how I almost died, because I was so tired. We had planned on doing like 6 houses, and then it turned into 7 houses, and then it turned into 8 houses.
And of course, as we're going, the lines are getting less and less, and we're like, let's go!
And here's the thing. In my head, I'm thinking, okay, I just have to get through this. We're in like house number 7, right? I'm like, just got to get through this one, and then I can go to sleep. And she's like, let's go to this one. I'm like, oh no.
Well, it didn't help that like you got to sit for a while, and I gave you alcohol. So we.
Oh man, I'm such a lightweight. That did not help. No, you're right.
It was the Quiet Place booth area. Like we got the light bulb drink. It was really good. Like I actually.
Yeah, it was actually really, really good.
Surprised by that, and it was. Thank you to the people who do they do a Disney thing. They also do the Universal food things. I can't remember right now. I feel terrible, but they said it was actually one of the best things. No. Universal Parks Today or something.
Oh, the people that do WDW or whatever, Walt Disney World, like the.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dave,
something like that.
I think so. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Wow. Welcome back.
Well, we can put a link to his thingy.
Maybe. I don't know. Anyway.
Anywho, and Mike ended up getting like this eclair, which is really good. If you like Mexican hot chocolate, which tends to be a little like real Mexican hot chocolate, that has a little bit of spice to it a lot of times. It is delicious. They did that kind of vibe on top of an eclair that was done actually really well. It was your favorite food booth thing.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
And then I ended up grabbing some food at Mel's.
That
took forever. They forgot half the order, and I just had to sit there and eat it in front of the counter. It was awful. Trying to eat half of it so I can go run it to Mike and then come back and wait for my food.
While I'm sitting at a booth staring.
He's trying not to
eclair.
The eclair.
Starving.
I know.
And I'm like, where the hell is she? What's going on now? Anyway, so it was a good night though. It was good.
And I was honestly surprised. Like I'd heard horrible things about Mel's, that I had gotten like mostly better, and then that chicken sandwich, I'd order that again.
Yeah. So if you can go to Halloween Horror Nights, right before a hurricane, it's a good time.
I would, if you're local, like don't make plans. Don't plan for that. Don't fly in, because the storms are so unpredictable. Like you don't know until the last second. So I cannot vouch for that bit of advice.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk install. So we've got some early access boxes out, and it's been an interesting time supporting. We've learned a lot, and we're going to talk a little bit about that here. But for those of you in the in Central Florida area, there's in Tavares, which is by Mount Dora, which there's not a mountain in sight in Mount Dora. We're in Florida. It's flat. Why is it called
He
Mount
thinks it's
Dora?
just a big hill. But
It's a big
anyways.
So near Orlando, near Mount Dora, Florida, there's a Fear Reach Scream Park.
Which is like Far Reach, like ranchers.
Yeah, Far Reach Ranch,
they do
which is blueberries.
Blueberry picking. Like
Yeah.
you can go do the you pick thing, and they do weddings, and it's really cute, right? Well, last year was their first year.
First year doing a haunt, yes.
And we were lucky enough to meet one of the people who works on it, Austin, on a.
He was the voice of.
He's
God
been on here.
once,
Yes, he's been on here previously. And a flight to Transworld, and he lived in Orlando, and we lived in Daytona, and we just
So we met.
hit it off.
When I say we, she, because I'm not very outgoing. She met Austin on a flight going to Transworld 2 years ago.
And then we met a couple times, and we kept talking to each other, and then we kept
at the show.
Yeah.
Right. Kind of ran into each other, and then
on the way back we got like switched numbers. I think.
No, you were sitting next to each other on the way back. Yeah. So like on we had the same flight on the way back.
Mm-hmm.
He's there as well, right? And so we kind of kept in touch. So we go to Fear Reach last year,
and he's working there, and it's like
he's working there.
It's like awesome, absolutely awesome.
As a assistant technical something.
He's assistant technical director, I believe, and also he's building out some of the sets and stuff.
Well, yeah,
too.
he's the muscle, part of the muscle.
True.
So, but anyway, so we ran into him, we connected back up, and that's actually how we saw.
That was our secret doorway into Fear Reach. Really, the owners are awesome, but like really getting in, like it was Austin and his awesome collaborator Kale, who is one of those fabulous people who does that painting over at.
Well, he does a bunch of as far as I understand it, he does a bunch of the
HHN houses with like set design, not design, the painting,
like Universal.
And then
stuff.
He's working on Epic right now as well, which is really freaking cool.
So and Kale's the technical director for Fear Reach. It's kind of cool. But anyway, digress. So that's how we sort of ran into him. We suckered him. I mean, we convinced him to come help us at Transworld this past year. So I'm sure if you guys were at our booth and you saw Austin, one of the few people that weren't us or Brittany.
Yeah.
In the booth. So that's Austin, and we connected back up, and we decided to. Okay, so we gave Austin some early access boxes.
Oh.
And we asked him to do a little bit of testing.
Testing himself, like before, because we were planning the next week on giving him to Fear.
We were planning a week or two after that of giving those new test boxes to Fear
Austin
Reach.
so believes in everything that he just went out there and just went for it, and we were like...
Well, we gave him the box a day before he went out there to work, so he brought it with him.
He just went in full hog, and God bless him, we probably would have been still dragging our feet.
So he calls me, and he's like... He's found like 7 bugs already, but he's not only found 7 bugs, he found 7 bugs with the people from Fear Reach, which was interesting. And I'm like, oh boy. That said, we fixed the bugs really quickly. I think it was like a day later. It was like, here, got them back up and running. And they're using Igor Bach's stuff for a portion of. So
they have this religious hallway scene that has a nun picture at the end of it, and you can kind of guess what happens there. But they actually were. I tried to warn them. They wanted it to have set positions that the actor could hit a button to make it more like a dark ride, but of course the timing for that is nearly impossible. There's a lot of choreograph, like the lights and the sounds, and everything else.
And then the audio, and then like multiple things happening, and
really cool. Looks great. Looks amazing. And unless like the person who thought of it is running it, it's going to be hard to get that timing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you sort of got to be really.
So a process has been changed to change some of that into a 2-button process instead of a 3-button process, and that's streamlining things, making it easier.
But the cool part is you just go and change it whenever you want.
Exactly.
Right. So yeah, he's been like, it's kind of interesting because you can continue to tweak.
He's doing refinements to the show
while the show's going on, right? Making changes here and there, right? So it's kind of cool to see it in action.
100%. Like we're so excited about this, and I am really grateful for the opportunity.
But they're definitely putting the boxes through the paces, right?
Yes.
So what's really interesting, the things that we've learned out of this, a few things, and we'll talk a little bit about some of the changes. That was supposed to be at the end, but we'll talk about it now.
We'll end with the fight of against Trunk or Treat.
Yes, we'll end with a fight against Trunk or Treat. So stay tuned for that one because that's kind of funny. So a few things that we discovered about the box. The first is, I have one here. This connector
is terrible.
It's on paper a great idea. This is an industrial Phoenix connector. It's not necessarily inexpensive by any means, and it was chosen out of anybody who does electrical engineering will know that there are probably 4 billion connector combinations out there. You've seen
I've seen quite a few.
The list of connectors.
I've seen quite a few.
This will drive you crazy. It's some sort of inner circle of hell trying to choose connectors. But anyway, so this connector is an industrial connector. It's for industrial automation, and it has a very positive snap click in there, and it's pretty solid in there. And it also has nice push-in wire connectors.
There are a lot of reasons that you bought it.
So there's a lot of reasons why we designed around it.
In practice, though.
So it works great on the bench. It works great, here when, we're sort of in a lab environment. And
it's flat, and it's not hanging up on a wall, and you're trying to poke it with a screwdriver to put the wire in so it can lock, and you need 6 hands.
that it really kind of only likes solid core wire. Mm-hmm. So if you're using stranded wire, go pound sand. You're going to be frustrated. It also is these little things on the end here.
So finicky.
They're finicky and they break. The little tabs break pretty easily, apparently. We've discovered, especially when the haunt is going on and you are in complete helmet fire mode trying to fix or figure out what's going on. You can break those little orange things off pretty easily. And also, even though it does have a positive click and is designed for industrial purposes,
with the weight of that fully wired out, like someone knocks a wire just right, that thing pops right out. Right out.
So, first thing to change, how we connect things to it. I really like the idea of using connectors because it's really easy to swap a box in that sense, right? I can pop a connector off, swap a box, pop a connector into a new box. Or if I need to, whatever, like I can leave stuff wired to the connector and I can put the boxes, separately somewhere else, right? Works great. Again, in a lab environment, super awesome because I have test harnesses and all kinds of stuff. That said, we're probably going to, if we do a connector, it's going to have a screws on it that screw in, right? And that takes up more space.
How many hands, if you're trying to deal with something, do you need to make this go? And I don't like it making it more complicated than it needs to be.
So what we've decided to do is to move to onboard terminal blocks, similar to the way a lot of other guys do it.
Wago connectors, like you guys know Ned's Leads, right? So Ned's Leads uses those connectors that have like a little flap that you pull up, and you have to push it with some good pressure up. Then you shove the thing in, you put it back down, and you can't rip that out. Like once that's locked, you can dangle from that.
We practically hung off of one. But the PCB, the thing it's soldered to, the PC board, printed circuit board. That's what PCB stands for. Wow, it's been a long day. The PCB will break before the wire comes out of the connector.
I'm surprised you can still talk with the amount of caffeine you have in you. Are you seeing the alternate dimension?
No, caffeine makes me tired.
What?
It's ADHD. I can't help it. It just makes me really tired.
Then why do you drink it?
Because it chills me out. Feel good. Keeps me on task. But anyway, so yeah, we're currently testing Wago connectors as our Wago terminal blocks, which is kind of a cool thing. It's toolless. Really one of our goals is to not have. You don't need to have a screwdriver.
As we go forward, we want the most, from the youngest to the oldest. If you have like one hand, whatever, we were trying to make it as easy as possible, and that's a nearly impossible task, but where we can make accommodations, we are.
I always have the little screwdriver in my pocket, except when I don't, and I usually don't have it the moment I need it. So trying to stay with a toolless system that is going to handle it. So that's the sort of first thing we learned about it. The second thing that I thought was really interesting is we have Wi-Fi, we have wireless connection, right? There's no secret about that anymore. And the system is designed to run without the internet. It is not designed to run without the network, though. There's a distinction there. I actually wrote a whole help document on help.igorbox.com about the networking and like networking requirements for this. Essentially, if we have two boxes, and we got two boxes here, two visual aids, we have two boxes, say one is an input, one is an output, they wirelessly communicate to each other, but they don't do it direct. They do it through your Wi-Fi device. So
like a lot of your other smart home devices kind of thing.
Right. So if the Wi-Fi router itself goes offline or it can't reach the network, you can't trigger things from one box to the other, right? Because there's just no path for that to tell it. So 2.4 gigahertz, which is the Wi-Fi frequency, is very, very close to the resonant frequency of water. Here's a fun fact for you, engineering fact. Humans are made of what?
A lot of water. So if you get a lot of bodies, that's a lot of water.
So everything was working great in our in our tests, in our run throughs and everything. We were actually there to kind of just be of assistance if they needed it.
We were there the first night we were there was actually like the family preview night.
Yeah.
So
it was cool.
It was
everything
amazing.
worked great.
Yep, it worked perfectly because it wasn't super crowded.
The next day, we're here, and I start getting text messages from Austin, and he's telling me it's like it's not triggering, it's not doing them. I go on and take a look from the support. We have a whole support console that
it gives us an eye into what's actually happening.
So I hop on the support console, and the boxes are just not there. They're not online. They're not even reporting, right? Which is okay if the internet's not there, if it's not connected to the internet. But that was telling me that the boxes weren't actually connected to the Wi-Fi because the Wi-Fi router that they were connected to was directly next to the internet, right? So,
which was of course placed right at the most crowded area of the bar,
which is placed in the bar, and not in the same building as the haunted house that this is installed in. So there were enough people there. Good problem to have, to absorb all the Wi-Fi signal, and all of a sudden when it was crowded at the busiest time, the whole system goes down.
Worst time, of course, that you want this to be happening. So
we went out.
We were
last
back
week.
Before their next show.
We went out last week, and we head out there for the first night, which was also their media night, last Friday, and we were there in the afternoon, and we installed a Wi-Fi mesh network. This is part, like, I talk a little bit about the mesh network on help.igorbox.com as well, but there will be more. I'll continue to augment that stuff as we learn more. But a mesh network essentially is basically one or two or more Wi-Fi routers that talk to each other and then make sure that there's Wi-Fi in a larger area. So we installed a 2-node mesh Wi-Fi router, one in the bar.
If you squint really, really well, both of them, you can kind of see the corner, but like
you can see both of them.
But if you look in the attic portion, there's a lady who's on the top of the stairs, and there'll be a butler that's popping out underneath. If you look, you're staring at the lady.
It's a library.
Library. Or it's a library. I'm sorry.
If you're looking at the lady, if you turn around and look up
to your left, on that little shelf, that little railing area,
you'll see Carl.
Carl pointing at you, and you want control.
The sticker is on the Wi-Fi router in there. So we meshed the haunted house to the bar, which is connected to the internet.
But we also found out the reason why things weren't working is somebody last time they were running their show obviously knocked something on the bar, which knocked the SD card out of its little slot.
Not the SD card, the SIM card.
SIM card. I'm sorry.
But beyond that, so here's the thing, the learning thing, right? So we get back to this. Again, it doesn't need the internet. So the first thing I tried was I took the Wi-Fi router from the bar, unplugged it from the internet, and took it into the haunted house and plugged it in. The boxes connected to the Wi-Fi just fine, but they never and then they booted up, but they still didn't work, which was very
confusing because it was what we were there and everything
and
was
I'm like,
working
well, wait a
fine.
minute.
I'm like, what?
Wait a minute. It says it's connected. I can connect to the box, like from the local system, and everything should be working, but it's not registering inputs. It's not doing anything.
Bit of a head scratcher. You had to start walking things backwards.
Now the wires had been messed with quite a bit, so
true.
I was like, well, maybe something got crossed somewhere. I mean, we have a lot of protections in the network or in the wiring in here to prevent you from blowing the thing up, but who knows? Maybe whoever did it found a new way of blowing it up that I didn't know about. So I was kind of freaking out.
So we brought extra boxes just in case.
So I was going through all this stuff, and I discovered that I pulled up the code. I had my laptop. I'm sitting out at the bar. This is like a couple hours before they open, right? 3-4 hours before they open. I got the code up and I'm reading through it, and I think I started laughing maniacally when I found the problem. So the box is designed to boot up without the internet. It's actually, what it'll do is, just to summarize, it will start up the Wi-Fi, start up everything, make a connection to the network, make sure the network is connected, make sure it has an IP address, all that fun stuff. Then it tries to go to the internet, and it waits 10 seconds for a response. And if it doesn't get a response from the internet, it just assumes the internet's down, and it continues to boot. It just skips all the stuff, like all the configuration, synchronization, and all the other stuff that it does.
Sounds perfect, right? Well,
right.
There's the one gotcha.
And then it should start, which it thought it did, but it didn't. Turns out that somewhere buried deep in the code, someone put a check that required that the time, the network time, the clock on it, is synchronized before it allows it to run anything. So everything was up and running, but it was waiting for the clock. It was waiting for an NTP endpoint, and it wasn't getting anything because there's no internet. Yep. And so it was just stuck there, which was just an oversight on my part. A 5-second fix, flash the box, boom.
Thank you for real world testing. Thank you for your reach.
Yes. So yeah, these are the sorts of growing pains we have in early access, right? This is something we've told everybody who's doing early access that
But luckily, we only live like an hour away. Like anytime they
need
us,
live
we're
an hour away from
right
Fair Reach.
there.
But we do have all of the we have all the remote support stuff in place. Again, I sat at the bar and I flashed the firmware from the bar. I didn't even get up or plug. I don't have to plug anything in.
They were still screwed up to the wall.
So yeah, I didn't really want to deal with it.
No.
So it worked. And then as far as the report goes, because we left after the show started, and everything looked like it was working well, we left.
I think we stayed about an hour, and it didn't seem like it was super packed because, again, it was a media night, probably trying to keep it nice for that. But yeah, we had over an hour drive home, and the dog. We were also watching somebody's cats. They were on a rare trip. They were making a dream come true, going to Iceland. So we had to come back and feed the cats and deal with the dog and everything. Yeah. So we left a little bit early, but everything went off without a hitch. Everything's been working pretty rock solid ever since, and the systems work great. So learning experiences, all that stuff just ends up making the product better. And we were, again, really blessed with Fair Reach for being open and communicating the whole time, because we can't make things better if you don't tell us what's wrong.
I mean, everything is designed from the ground up here, right? The hardware, the firmware, the software, the whole thing, right? So if there's a bug, it's fixable, probably. Short of physics. I can't fix physics laws.
Okay.
But that's a few things that we've learned from that. I don't know if there was anything else that we really sort of gleaned from that. I think that was it.
Okay. Well, I know that we have hurricane talks to talk about because we're.
Oh yeah. So we're for those who don't know, our lab is here in Florida.
We're in the Daytona area, and we luckily have been historically pretty good here, but it doesn't mean we don't have a generator because a couple years ago we were the last in our neighborhood to get power back. And
when Hurricane Ian came through, it was we were camping without power for a little while.
It was like 3 days or 4 days, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a little while. And we couldn't leave either because
our neighborhood's
like on a hill, and it turned into an island.
Yes, we were surrounded by a moat.
but as you know, Milton,
yes, is on the way.
Is coming for his stapler.
Yes, and yeah. So we have our little generator on the back porch with a ton of fuel by it, and we have a big backup battery, and all the other little batteries are charged. Yeah. And this time, because our air conditioner is still broken, we have window units that we can probably power. We have a solar panel. We'll figure this out. We got it this time.
Yeah, our air conditioner is supposed to get replaced at the end of the week.
Milton pushed back the contractors that were supposed to be fixing some stuff up in the attic as far as insulation and stuff before the AC people came in. And so that's going to push the AC off again a little bit. Luckily, it's been kind of overcast and rainy, but we are pushing these poor little window units to their absolute limit.
They've been running nonstop.
They have a 1-year warranty, and we're going to test that sucker out.
So yeah, things have been going a little bit crazy here, but that's okay. We're getting stuff done. But yeah, hopefully Milton is. I mean, right now it looks like it's going to come straight for us, and by the time it gets across the state, it's supposed to still be at a Category 1. So we got to bring in our Halloween decorations.
So Halloween decorations. Let's get onto the fight with trunk or treat. I really kind of despise trunk or treat in general. I think it's wrong. I understand that there's supposed to be safety in that. I don't know why thinking kids in a parking lot's a good idea, but anyways, putting all these cars together, no matter how cute you decorate it, is just kind of walking around like you.
But hold on,
it's just kind of soulless. Sorry.
It's worse here. Our neighborhood is a gated community.
Oh yes, and it's very against. It's okay. So years ago, this neighborhood used to be known for trick or treating because it's a bunch of old rich people, and they used to love having the trick or treaters. Well, then people got upset because the outside kids were coming in. Well, there's not a lot of kids in this neighborhood.
The kids were coming in and taking all
the candy, and then it was supposedly it got less active with people who were giving away and interacting and participating in trick-or-treating, being in the houses and stuff. I don't know exactly what happened, but there's definitely some murky waters there moving forward. I've been decorating since we moved in, pretty heavy for Halloween.
Can't imagine why.
And the neighborhood loves it, and then I keep asking, I'm like, so where's the rest of the people who do trick or treat? Because sometimes there's kids that will walk to a couple houses if they see the lights on, especially around me, because I'm like a moth, flame for the moths. But it's
yeah, everybody knows it. We in the neighborhood, all you have to do is say the crazy Halloween house.
We are the Halloween house. But it is an honor and also kind of sad because as much effort as I put into it, I still get less than 100 kids.
We are the Halloween house, is in the only one.
Pretty much. I quested.
But the trunk or treat is worse. The trunk or treat situation is even worse here because it is a gated community in the state of Florida, which means that everybody has golf carts, and the trunks are not cars.
They're golf carts.
It's golf carts in a common area.
But hey, there's the guy who has a giant jet engine that dolls it. He had made it into a car that he brings over and stuff. So there's some cool things.
There's some really cool stuff.
There's some cool things, but
at the end of the day, we did a party. We attended their party once, and we kind of.
I've driven by the trunk or treat, and it looks like the people really try hard to do. The older people really try to decorate, and they're supposed to make carnival games, and it's not.
The one time we went to their Halloween thing,
They never did
with the golf cart.
Baby, they never did another one after that.
Yeah, our golf cart had a fog machine on it. And
no, of course we brought music and fog, and you've seen the two skeletons carrying the coffin. We turned that into a cooler and had like fresh guacamole from our tree, and like had an insane party with the lighting going and everything else.
We weren't invited back.
They never had another. They had one green light.
They had one green light.
That was very unappealing over a food table. And there was no.
Why would you light it? Why would you light the food with a green light?
And it was supposed to be potluck, and it was just green food, and no music, and it was just kind of like, yeah, we brought the party, and it kind of feels it's the same. It's kind of the same with Halloween even now. Like everybody comes to our house. Like last year we did the Day of the Dead thing. People just hung, even in the driveway across the way, in their golf carts, drinking just to absorb the vibe.
I was so sick for Halloween last year too, man.
You were. Oh my god, that was horrible.
I had an infection and it was bad. But at the end of the day, I mean, right now the trunk or treat thing is like we
have to be careful, because if anybody like tries to do anything at the same time as the trunk or treat, like,
oh my god,
heads will roll.
Oh my god. We did a haunted house 2 years ago, like a home haunt, because why not?
You can still see part of it. Hey,
this set is literally part of what was left over.
And I thought it was too cool, and it needed to be a set for the podcast, so I won.
So we did the haunt. We advertised it.
We did. We advertised it on Facebook, but we had it that you had to RSVP get a time thing and everything, because it's a gated community. We wanted the gate to have a list of who was coming and when. Yeah,
so they were all invited guests of ours, and they would text. We set up a thing with Twilio, so they would text a phone number, and then that would like get their information, and then
as well as their requested like time,
like slot. What time slot they like morning, like beginning or end of it, like etc. What day? So we did it multiple days, and then on the day of their day that they were coming, they would then get a text message. It was like a speakeasy, right? Like they would get a text message with like the location,
all the details,
and all the details. And then we also had a list of people from that we would just give to the security to say, hey guys, this is the list of people that are coming. These are the times they're coming, etc. I mean, it was very like cross T's, dot I's, right?
Right, we're trying to do this right, because we also don't want to like overwhelm our street with parking or anything stupid like
Everybody
that, right?
loved this idea, except for the fact that we were going to be open on Halloween, and that's when the trunk or treat is. And the pleb kids might come and get the candy.
And yeah, and then we might have outsiders, and it's dangerous. The dangerous outsiders are going to come and steal the candy, and I was so upset.
Clutch those pearls.
So upset.
Clutch the pearls.
I basically told Mike to sell the gosh darn house.
I don't think those were the words you used. Pretty sure, if I remember it.
They don't want Halloween here. They don't deserve it.
Yep, that sounds about right. Yeah. So.
But I have to say, this year, like, the vibe's been different. I'm getting a lot of like thank yous for what we do, because even this year we aren't doing a lot, and I'm trying to like take it easy. I bought this like 16-foot tentacles that I have coming out of my windows, and I'm still gonna have the kids throwing these reusable water balloons. If you haven't seen them, they're silicone with a little magnet on them. You fill in a second. So cool. With of course the plumber's dye and all that other stuff, so they glow, pressing against the garage to keep the monster contained in the house. Like, we're just gonna have fun, right? So.
Gotta have a game.
Exactly.
Sort,
like
right?
Every year I don't do some kind of haunt or something. I do something interactive. And we are, of course, like dealing with that. And I said I'm going to start it at 6:30, so it's an hour after the trunk or treat starts. And I still got like temper your expectations, because the trunk or treat has games themselves, and it could take a lot longer. And I'm like, okay,
great.
So. Like,
have a good time. We'll be here.
My response to that was like, I'm open at 6:30 because I have to open to let the littlest kids come before they go to bed. You know, the littlest ghosts and goblins.
But we will not bend to the trunk or treat.
We will not. What I've done that 1 year. Like it really makes me mad because Halloween is the day that you're supposed to let the kids come in, and even if I'm doing a fundraiser, kids are always free to come through my haunt or come do whatever. Like, yeah, that hurt me deep. So it's going to be a private party in the future probably, and they can suck it.
We're gonna have private parties.
But anyways, so my fight against like keeping those porch lights on is garnering a little bit of an audience, and I'm getting a list together in the community of people who really want to have trick-or-treaters, and they say, and I also ask if adults are allowed because we have a lot of adults in this community who really miss Halloween, and they're saying yes, and then we might have a shot for the adults too, and which I'm not really. I mean, everyone's on their golf cart, but you still shouldn't really be drinking and riding around. But it's good to see that there are people who are participating in a way that shocks me because I didn't expect as many people to start right now saying they would do it because we have the storms coming, and I feel like the storms are going to keep a lot of people from decorating in general, and
they already have
spirit way down. It's been that way. I mean, it's the year we did the haunt, the neighborhood was shocked and so grateful because nobody else had anything going on. And it's pretty much, you're in Florida and it's hurricane season and it's awful. Like Fear Reach, God bless you. They're an outdoor haunt, kind of, mainly. Well, I mean, they've got a roof on their thing.
They're in the path of Milton's in the path. Milton's coming for him.
I know. Go see them now. Go see them.
Milton's gonna be here tomorrow.
Oh no, that's right. They're closed. They're closed until Friday. Oh yeah. Oh nope. It's gone. Oh no. Okay, so we can all send positive vibes towards Fear Reach to keep them safe. Good vibes.
Let's send positive vibes to every haunt to keep them safe from this crap. There are other ones too,
True.
In home haunts and home decorations.
Oh, a lot, yeah.
Or how about just the people that live on the coast.
True.
So.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard in Florida to keep the spooky vibe going when everybody's just kind of worried for their safety. Yeah, weird thing. But we will take the easy route this year. I can fit everything that I have out right now.
We really wanted to do a haunt. We wanted to do the haunt every other year thing. We did a haunt 2 years ago, and then last year
we didn't, and it was promised I could do it this year.
Yeah, we were supposed to do a haunt this year,
but with the contractor stuff and
with the air conditioner explosion,
we've had some issues that have really set us back. And then we figured, well, plan B, worst case scenario, we'll show the neighborhood the booth that we built for Transworld, right? Because that's really cool. That would be amazing for the kids to do the paddles and stuff. And it's just honestly, we feel like we've been on a constant treadmill and we're pretty exhausted. Our personal life has been absolutely insane, and we have not had time to get our thoughts together on everything we need for the booth. I know that I have most things in the hangar in New Smyrna Beach, but then I have a storage unit that has some stuff, and my head is not in that space right now. Inflatable tentacles and some water balloons are much more my speed. I'm sure there's people out there who can totally catch that.
It looks good. It looks hilarious.
So this is me taking kind of the year off and just chilling. But it should still be really, really, really fun.
Yeah. We should probably wrap this up. Indeed.
So down with the trunk or treat. Keep your porch lights on. Get your candy. Support the old-fashioned. It's great. It's building confidence in kids. It's letting people explore. It's a healthy, good thing. Keep trick-or-treating alive. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys have a great night.
Yeah. And we'll see you next month, hopefully, if we can keep our crap together. And we'll have some more updates on boxes and stuff. So, and possibly some more early access people that may want to. Oh yeah, so we're in talks with somebody else right now who's interested, but we won't name drop until we're in because that's just bad form. We also, we'll name drop when they let us name drop. So, until then, adieu. Have a good Halloween. Have a good October. And stay spooky. See ya.